I just restarted the stream. Cool, thanks. Okay, alright, now we're good. Alright, thanks everybody for bearing with me here. I had to just restart the stream because for some reason our Facebook and YouTube weren't connecting, and now we're live on all 3 platforms now. So we are good to go. So if you guys are here, thanks for bearing with me as I got rid of those technical difficulties. But we're here again Wednesday on the Action Lab, so thank you for joining in. Thank you for being a part of it. We are halfway through the week, as mentioned earlier on, and we are trying to get you through that latter part of the week. Only a couple days before the weekend are left. So if you were here earlier, this is like, it's almost like you're on repeat right now. You're hearing all these things over again. But, you know, I got to make sure we're making everybody included in on this stream and making sure everyone is ready to roll with us. So, as mentioned also, we are going to be talking some NBA, NHL playoffs. We're going to be talking some top stories, some juicy, like, drama. We never get into drama on this show, but I'm excited to get into some of the drama here. We're going to talk some like high school drama stuff within the sports world, which I can't wait for. It's stuff that, like, you know, I got some live clips for you too, or some not live clips, but some fun clips that we can check out here, and I can kind of get you up to speed if you're missing out on some of these storylines. But yeah, I think it's gonna be solid. Mayday, happy you're popping in, man. Thanks for being here as always. Let's go. Embiid was inserted to the blank, literally thrusting those hips. So yeah, currently the 76ers are doing work, and I expected this to be a sweep in this series. We're gonna touch on this quite a bit, but as far as the NBA scores go, our ticker's not completely live at the top there, so just bear with us. But we already have a final in the books, 120-95. The Philadelphia 76ers get a big win over the Washington Wizards. They lead 2-0, so they take care of that home court advantage that you know, is so much needed in the playoffs here. And then also the current game that's going on now. Atlanta was actually winning this game quite a bit earlier on, and now New York has kind of jumped back in and taken some of this control back. So they are up 88-78 over the Atlanta Hawks right now. So there are some things going in that game that are pretty interesting. That game is completely flipped. So that's interesting. You see the Westbrook popcorn incident. I did not. I want to see this though. Westbrook. What happened? Let me know what. Let me know what happened in the chat. But preview it here. Westbrook popcorn. '76ers fan throws popcorn at Russell Westbrook. Oh, let's see what this is all about. Ooh, excited to see this. Let's see. Oh man, this is interesting. Westbrook's going nuts. Wow. If there's one thing, I don't know what Westbrook was expecting to do in that situation. So if you haven't seen this, maybe I'll bring this clip up here in a little bit. We'll touch on this. But this, it looks like just happened. And Westbrook's walking into the tunnel, and somebody above the tunnel ends up pouring popcorn on him. And I don't know what he's expecting to get out of all that. He's like trying to get back out of the tunnel so he could do something. I don't know what he's expecting to do there, but that's hilarious. That's fantastic. Juicy hilarious. Yes, you're right, Mayday. That is funny stuff. So, hey, I mean, it is what it is, man. You gotta just like let things happen. Like if it was beer, I think that's a different, like beer, you get all wet and soggy and stuff. Like that's one thing. Popcorn, come on, man. It's popcorn. Mayday, he should have ate the popcorn. Yeah, I completely agree. Who wastes good popcorn? By the way, if you've gone to like the baseball game, basketball game, football game, the popcorn is one of the best things you can get from those concession stands. I used to work at a concession stand when I was in college at the Denver Nuggets at the Pepsi Center. And I would go and just steal the popcorn all day, every day. It was the best popcorn because they get they have like the big bags with the oil and the butter, and it's like really, really bad. You know there's something really awful in there that you shouldn't be eating, but it makes the popcorn taste so much better. That's what that guy was wasting. Like, I mean, I guess you don't want to waste beer either, but like popcorn, that's fine. Westbrook needs to chill out on that one. That's my opinion on that. I don't know. I think he overreacted in that situation. It's popcorn. Like, whatever. Anyways, so you'll notice again, you'll notice that Scotty's not here. He's on a golf trip. So if you missed that in the beginning of the show, he's out east I think he's in North Carolina somewhere playing a PGA tour, playing multiple rounds over a course of like 3 or 4 days. So he's having a great time, enjoying that. Hopefully he doesn't get too much rain. So, big love to Scotty out there enjoying his time. He gets a little vacation. I need a vacation. I need to get on a little golf trip, even though I suck at golf. Wow, how dare you steal? Did you see the Embiid thrusting his hips? No, I did not either. I've been out of touch. I was watching that's the thing with these games. Like I was watching the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Islanders game, which that was a good series. I was watching the early on stages of some of these other games, but it's so hard to watch everything. Let me check this. Embiid hip thrust. Let's see. I don't know what this is all about either, but let's see. Was it good though? Was it solid? Are you previewing me a really good? I wish there was like movie trailers for what I'm about to see. I got so much like excitement to see some of these highlights because I've seen these things pop up on some of the Twitter feeds and things, and I haven't had a chance to check them out because I was prepping for the show. So I'm one of those. I'm just a little bit behind right now, but all right, here we go. And Joel Embiid, man, he's a baller. Let's see. And you'll take that. All right, so he gets the layup. Boom. Okay, that's a nice finish too. And the hip. See, he's doing an ab workout, is what he's doing. So that's what makes Joel Embiid an MVP caliber candidate, is the fact that he's working out during a game. He does those ab thrusts, the ab workouts you see people do in the gym that like I never do because I'm just like too lazy to do them, and my core is like weak as shit. But hey, big ups, man. He's running the floor. He's getting a circus layup, and he's making time to get a workout in. That gets a lot of credit in my book. I'll take that all day, every day. Big ups to Joel Embiid for there's a lot of little like juicy, like this show is all going to be juicy storylines, by the way. There's going to be a lot going on here with like high school drama, and we got popcorn being thrown, we got hip thrusts, we got Man, this is Scotty's missing out on this amazing show that we're just about to put on here. This might be our best show ever, and Scott might not be even close to enjoying any of it. He might have to watch the VOD back, and we might have to clip some of these for him so that he can enjoy this with us. Because right now, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to be touching on. So, let's dive in. We have a packed show. So, I'm going to jump in. We're going to do the news rundown here. We're going to get off and running with everything we have going on the news rundown. Now, there are some fun stories here. So, all right. Herrera robbing a home run. Okay, there we go. Thanks for the updates, Mayday. Last time I checked, they were up. Phillies were up 2-1. Is that still the case? Are they still winning on that? Let me know. Let me turn this down a little bit. So I want to touch on some little things here. Now, there's a story here, and we touched on this a while back. But Julio Jones is going to lead off our news rundown. And by the way, we're still looking for a new name for the news rundown. If you guys want to influence the show and have your voice heard, we're looking for a new name for the news rundown that's a little bit sexier and fits more of the Action Lab kind of environment, so to speak. So I want to see, if you're here, what we should call our news rundown, because news rundown, it's a little dated, it's a little old. We started this stream, a few months back, and we, by the way, we're up to 33 followers in a short period of time. So thank you guys so much. If you're here, hit that follow button. But we also want to make sure that you guys have a voice. That's in the chat, talking stories and sports and everything you want to talk about. And that's also influencing what we do on the show. So if you have a great name for our news rundown that fits the Action Lab theme, Lab Rats, Action Lab, all that stuff, I want to see those in the chat, and maybe we end up changing the name. And this is all of our top stories, news topics, and things that we, talk about across the country. So this is various topics. The testing site, bad suggestion. No, that's not a bad. It's better. Honestly, testing site is better than the news rundown. Now, could we have a couple of ideas that kind of pop in? I think you're on the right track, Mayday. I think you're almost there. Anyone else? Also, Mayday, keep them coming. I want to hear them all, and then maybe by the time Scotty gets back, we have a new name for it. We have a whole week to figure this out, so keep those coming. But Julio Jones in the news here. Now, quick little tidbit here. I want to show you a clip, and this clip is actually crazy, and there's still back and forth on whether or not this is real, but we talked about on the show previously that Julio Jones has requested, the Atlanta Falcons can't bring Julio Jones back based off of money. And there's been a lot of back and forth whether or not he's going to be able to, get moved, or what's going to happen with Julio Jones. So on the show Undisputed with Skip and Shannon, if you are aware of that show, it's on Fox Sports every morning. They were on the show, and they were doing a little preview of the little analysis on where he could land. Now, there's this clip of Shannon Sharp, old Bronco, Raven, Hall of Fame tight end. Obviously, he's Skip's counterpart. Skip Bayless is a well-known guy. I came from ESPN, now he's on Fox Sports. They were talking back and forth about where he's going to go, and the fact that he was wearing a Dallas Cowboys shirt earlier on in the week, so they were speculating whether or not he would be a Dallas Cowboy. Well, Shannon decides, and I don't know if this is real or not, maybe you guys have heard something different. It feels like it's hard to be staged because it's on live air, and he ends up calling Julio Jones on the phone, on his speakerphone, in the studio. And this is where you get that famous, "Oh, I'm out of Atlanta" quote that you've probably been hearing all through the headlines and all through the Twitterverse and radio waves and everything you got out there. So I want to play this video for you, and I want to get your thoughts on it. So give me 1 second while I pull this up here, and then we can just make sure that we have your thoughts. And give me 1 second here. All right. Oops, wrong one. Okay, so here we go. Here's the clip.
Are we calling? Okay, we're calling.
This is crazy.
You watching, Julio?
Really hope he answers here.
Julio, have the guts to pick up the phone.
You guys can hear this, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Julio. Hold on. Let me put you on.
This is wild. I can't believe this happened. If this is spontaneous.
Can you hear me? I got you. This is your favorite uncle. What's going on, bro?
Man, nothing much. About to go meet up with my brother. What's happening with you?
Man, look. You want to go to the Cowboys, Julio? Or you want to stay in Atlanta?
Oh, man, nah, I'm out of there, man.
You
He's
out of
out. He's out of there.
there? Are you going to... Ideally, where would you like to go?
Right now, I'm just... I want to win.
Okay.
Dallas.
Well, don't go to Dallas. If you go, you ain't winning in Dallas, Julio.
You're not winning in
You
Dallas.
man, listen, come on, man. You already know I know.
Okay.
Can you remind him we're on television
Ask
right
him
now?
why wore the Dallas.
Listen. You know how people is, man, with all that going
Right.
on with the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all that stuff like that.
Okay.
Man, I ain't never been on that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's good enough. Julio, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for calling me back. We on air, but I appreciate you calling me, dog. You know I know my nephew was gonna pick up.
Oh yeah, nah. Yeah. I ain't going to Dallas, man. I never thought about going to
Or
that.
Dallas.
Okay. I appreciate that, bro. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Now he might not have any choice.
I told you my nephew was gonna pick. I've been trying to tell you.
Well, I've been trying to tell you he's out of there. He just said, I'm out of
I know he
Atlanta.
was out.
I mean, what do you make of that? Is that real? It has to be, right? That has to be real. The fact that he calls him on it, Skip Bayless didn't seem like he was ready for that. Kind of wild, right? You heard that. If you didn't hear that audio, let me know, because I think I had that queued up so you can hear it. But the fact that Julio Jones just was called
Now-
on live television, live air, and all of a sudden just ends up picking up the phone and just saying, "Oh, I'm out of there." A lot of times, made it. He's my favorite player saying no to Dallas. Yeah, no, he's obviously even he can't help Dallas right now. It's just so funny though. It's just so out of like. It's almost like Shannon talked him out of Dallas too. Like everyone doesn't want him to see him go to Dallas, right? And Mayday, your Eagles would definitely appreciate him not going to Dallas. But the fact that he was just so candid about I'm out of Atlanta. I'm done. I'm out of there. Man, that's usually that. You know how refreshing that is to not hear all that sports talk, that sports speak, where it's like, well, I got to see the generalities. I got to figure out what my team wants to do, and then I got to talk to my agent, so I don't have any answers. Like very watered down. You never really get a straight answer. I love that. I love the fact that he was like, "Oh, I'm out of Atlanta. I'm done." And it just seemed natural. Like it didn't seem like that was something that was staged. It didn't seem like that was something. So if it was staged, then they did a fantastic job in making that believable, because that was crazy. I've never seen anything like that on the air. Like just calling a random guy and just saying, "Oh, what are your plans? What do you want to do?" And then you get a legit answer. You actually get something that is tangible that you can take to the press or the tabloids or whatever. Midnight Green Julio. You would love that, wouldn't you, Mayday? I know you would love that. Woo, man, that would be a nice little weapon for you out there. I don't know if it's realistic for him to go to Philadelphia. I actually haven't seen the odds of Julio Jones, where he's going. I think there were some odds that, let me see, Patriots, Titans, Chargers, I think were among some of those. So the Falcons are still the team that is leading in the sweepstakes to keep him. However, I don't think that's going to happen. He said he's out. I believe him. I mean, you're getting it straight from the source, right? When's the last time you got something straight from the source? No middleman. Patriots plus 450 in Vegas. The Titans plus 500. Chargers plus 550. man, look out if he goes to the Chargers. Man, if he goes to the Chargers, we cannot. The Broncos. When I say we, the Broncos have to make a push for Aaron Rodgers at that point, or Deshaun Watson, depending on his legal situation, which seems to be kind of like evening out and clearing out a little bit. But I hope, I pray it's not. I'd rather him go to your Eagles, Mayday. Now the Eagles, just to let you know, I scrolled down to see where the Eagles were odds-wise to pull Julio Jones, and I had to keep scrolling a couple times. They're dead last in odds at plus 6,600. So, Mayday, if you think he's going to come to the Eagles, you better place the biggest bet you can on that, because you're getting plus 6,600 on your money when it comes to them pulling him over to Philadelphia and playing some snaps for your Eagles. So, good luck. The Broncos are tied with that. There's 6 teams: Panthers, Bengals, Broncos, Texans, Vikings, and Eagles. Yeah, I know it was a joke. I know. I got you. So anyways, it's just an interesting story. Now, again, whoever gets him, they're getting some production. We talked about this on the show a little bit ago. I mean, he's solid. In 2019, he signed a 3-year deal worth $64 million of it guaranteed. His contract is worth $15.3 million in 2021. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. If Jones, he's slated to be the 8th highest paid wide receiver in the league next year. So you got to be able to cover that with your cap space. Now, he's a career leader for the Falcons in receptions. He became the fastest receiver to record 12,000 career yards in 2019, hitting that mark in only 125 games to surpass all-time great Jerry Rice. 2020, he became second fastest receiver to record 800 receptions behind Antonio Brown. He had 127. Antonio Brown had 126. And he's 27th player in the NFL history to reach the milestone that he's 12,896 career yards heading into the 2021 season. So you're getting production. He is far, far, far from being done playing in the NFL. So I just thought it was crazy what was said there. Deb and chat, a lot of disturbing talk about Sharp not letting Julio know he was live on a show. Yeah, and honestly, I don't know if it was real or not. I don't know if maybe he gave him a heads up before the show. I don't envision Shannon Sharp just doing that randomly. It's kind of weird for him to do that randomly and just not have that scripted into the show. So I want to say that was planned. And I want to say Julio Jones was ready to answer the phone. So it's hard to say, though. It seems legit. I don't know. It will, maybe we'll find out eventually if that was real or not. But if it was, the fact that he just like ambushed him on live TV, if that was completely spontaneous, that's wild. I think that's crazy. So we'll see. But that's just our first topic there, and we're just getting started here. Let's dive into the second topic, and that is we have Lefty with the thumbs up. Now, Phil Mickelson, if you like golf, you know who Phil Mickelson is. He's, the counterpart to Tiger Woods. He's that peanut butter to Tiger Woods jelly. He's been out of it for a little bit, but hasn't been super competitive. You'll see him on that leaderboard right there, just, giving that thumbs up, knowing that he was going to win this championship, and he did. Phil Mickelson captured his 6th major, and by far the most surprising, on Sunday at the PGA Championship, becoming, at the age of 50, the oldest winner in 161 years of the major championship in golf. He became the first player in PGA Tour history to win tournaments 30 years apart, and the first of his 45 titles was in 1991, when he was still a junior at Arizona State. So, just a little background there. Mickelson, never thought he was too old to win again. He was obviously trying to compete in all of these majors and trying to just get back on track with things because he was out of it for a little bit. you know, he accepted the just a week ago, he accepted a special exemption into the U.S. Open because at number 115 in the world and winless in the past 2 years, he no longer was exempt from qualifying. As recent as a month ago, he was concerned that he could not keep his focus for 18 holes, and he kept throwing away shots that set him back. And so the fact that he, after all of this, ends up coming back and winning the PGA Championship was kind of miraculous. I would love to get Scotty's opinion on this, because Scott, he's not a big Phil Mickelson guy, but he was pretty impressed when I talked to him off stream that, man, Phil can ball out still, and you know, even though he hasn't been relevant and even though he wasn't a big fan of him, it was pretty impressive to see what he could do here. Mickelson closed with a 1/73 to win by 2 shots over Brooks Koepka. We're going to talk about Brooks Koepka in a minute. We got some drama coming up. You see that kind of alluding to that in our 4th topic here on our news rundown, or our testing site. I'm still waiting for another name from you, Mayday. I would love to hear a name for our news rundown. Keep them coming. But yeah, so you know, he was able to, you know, jump in, get this win here. And, you know, you were kind of monitoring when you saw the ESPN updates and the little, like, notifications on your phone, if you get the sports notifications, that he was leading. Like, man, can he pull this off? So, as far as this goes, Julius Boros, for 53 years, held the distinction of golf's oldest major champion. He was 48 when he won that in 1968. So, 1968, it's a long time. And he did that in San Antonio for that PGA Championship. The record now belongs to Mickelson, whose legacy is as much rooted in longevity as any of the skills that have made him among the most exciting players in the game. Like, the golf is better when you have guys like Mickelson winning tournaments like this. You know, you want to have, like, the Tiger Woods, the Phils. You want to have them, you know, doing well and competing with the young guys. Now, they're not going to be here for very much longer. I know, you know, obviously you have injuries with Tiger. You have Phil, who's getting up there in age, and this is his first major in a long, long time, 30 years. So, I mean, yeah, it's kind of crazy. So, but it does make golf better. He became the 10th player to win majors in 3 decades. Man, are we just aging Phil here? Like, sometimes I'm reading some of these, and sometimes I'm like, we're making him just sound old. Like, it's maybe I should stop reading all these achievements and all of these, like, gaps, and it will make him sound not quite as old. But that's what makes this impressive, right? That's what makes this what it is. That's what makes this, like, historic, is the fact that, you know, he's won majors in 3 decades. And so, you know, Tiger Woods, who won the Masters in 2019 at the age of 43, and 4 back surgeries, was among those to send tweets congratulations and, you know, gave him some love. Mayday, I'll be back in 10. Right on. See you in about 10. I won't miss you too much. Maybe I will. Who knows? So yeah, it was fun. And what was even more fun is when you saw the craziness that came out of the last hole. The 18th hole, after Mickelson hit a 9-iron safely to just outside 15 feet and all but secure the victory. Thousands of fans just engulfed him down the fairway. They just, like, surrounded him and just went crazy with him, celebrating. It's only seen, you know, that's typically a scene that's carved out for, like, the Open Championship. Until, you know, obviously Mickelson emerged with the victory here. Now, Phil has another stop here coming up. Next stop is the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines, the only major keeping Mickelson from the career Grand Slam. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on that one, including mine. And I don't watch a lot of golf, but I'm going to be watching that U.S. Open at Torrey Pines to, you know, well, maybe I won't watch the whole thing, right? Golf is, I have trouble watching golf completely from start to finish, you know, from a Thursday to I kind of just keep track of it, and I just maybe might tune into some of the leaderboards here and there. Sure. I won't watch it completely, but if Phil's playing and he's doing it at a high level and he can potentially hit that Grand Slam, I think that would be insane. I think that would be awesome to watch because you won't see that quite often again. So it is what it is. Like you got to appreciate that excellence. So yeah, keep an eye on it. Now I want to dive into the next story here, and that is the match. It's the match. It's you got the tournament coming up here, and this is actually, so I've mentioned this a couple times to people off stream and to, like, you know, friends and things, but there's a thing called the match in golf, and it's 2v2, and usually it's like, you know, a couple athletes that are stars in their sports and a couple pro golfers that are stars in their sports. And you know, we've seen Peyton Manning in this one, we've seen Tom Brady, we've seen Tiger Woods, various stars and various athletes that have made this fun. Now, you know, when Peyton Manning did it and was going up against, it was Peyton and Tiger against lefty, which Phil Mickelson, who we were just talking about, and Tom Brady. And it was one of the best golf TV presentations I think I've ever seen. As sad as that is to say, that's coming from a casual golf fan, guys. That's coming from a golf fan that I don't watch golf. I don't have the time. I have a 19-month-old child. I have a family and in-laws that are just always doing shit all the time. I can't always catch the tournaments. I can't always watch golf. But I tuned in and they have them mic'd up. You can hear what they're saying. It's, you know, there's trash talk on each hole. It makes it so much more fun when you're in there. You're in their ears. You're hearing the trash talk. You're hearing all the little things that are going on. Now, these are typically built out for charity. This year we have Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers squared off, you know, they in the NFC Championship game this previous season in the NFL, with Tom Brady getting the best of Aaron Rodgers and then eventually going on to win that Super Bowl. So you have that battle kind of rekindling on the golf course. Then, you know, he's participating in this with Brady playing alongside Phil Mickelson as his partner. And it's a match play event. And Rodgers will play alongside Bryson DeChambeau. So they're going to be kind of head-to-head against each other. And a lot of this is mainly just for, you know, charity. And, you know, it's just a fun event. Not an official event, but, you know, it's a lot of fun. Now, the older pairing in the match, so I mentioned earlier that Mickelson won the PGA Championship Sunday, but Brady and Mickelson are 1-0 when paired together. So they've won this before at the match after defeating Peyton Manning and Tiger Woods in 2020. This was, you know, before I think the COVID stuff was hitting as well. But kind of fun. You know, I would suggest if you're just a casual golf fan, you should check this out. Even if you don't like golf and you just like these players, there's going to be a lot here. You got Aaron Rodgers drama, trying to figure out where he's going to be playing next year. Hopefully it's Denver. Hopefully it's Denver. We need it in Denver. So that's one reason to watch. You never know what you're going to hear from these guys. Maybe you'll get hints at little things. You never know. Tom Brady. Last time we saw him, he was throwing a Vince Lombardi Super Bowl trophy from a boat, and he was hammered on a boat. And then you have Phil Mickelson winning a championship, PGA Championship, and then you have DeChambeau, who we'll talk here in the next segment about his drama. There's just a lot of storylines in all of this that I can't wait. You're waiting for these little, like, you know, tidbits to pop up throughout the course of, you know, this little match, and that's why it's so great to hear these guys mic'd up. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, Brady has already started the trash talk ahead of the match. He's sent some streaming of memes Tuesday afternoon, poking fun at Rodgers and DeChambeau. Brady's meme game is pretty much in mid-season form right now. He can compete. This was where we were having some fun, you know, a lot of trash talk happening ahead of it. Nothing's changing with this year. So we're gonna see what that's what that's gonna look like. But this is the third iteration of the match overall, and it's gonna be taking place at Moonlight Basin in Montana on July 6th. The event will air on TNT. So you're going to have that TNT crew who's really, really good. They're very entertaining. You know, if you want to talk about the cushiest jobs, side note, man, if you were on that TNT cast and crew when it came to like the NBA playoffs and stuff, like Chuck and you know, Shaq and Kenny and all those guys, man, they have it good, man. They do like a couple minutes of analysis and just mess around with Twitter memes and everything else the rest of the time. I would love that job. You know how much they get paid to do that job? A lot. I would love that job. That would be the greatest job. So yeah, kind of crazy to think about, but yeah, no, I'm serious about this though. If you have a chance to check it out, even if you're not a golf fan, we talked about this where some of the other events that have taken place. In the past, some of these big sport events that maybe you're not necessarily into, give it a try. Just give it one go. Mark your calendars for July 6th, and it's gonna be better than all these stupid boxing fights with Logan Paul and Mayweather. It's gonna be way better than that, in my opinion. Check it out. It'll be worth your time, I promise. And just to even get a little bit closer look on just how these guys interact with each other. You never see that. Maybe you see these guys they're always going out to dinner on the football field. You have to wait. On YouTube you can see some of these guys chirping during the games and stuff. But this gives you just a full VIP access. And I think this is great for golf. I think this is fantastic for golf because I don't know why golf doesn't do this more often with other tournaments and things. Mic up your guys and have some fun. And when you don't have a Tiger Woods or you don't have a dominant player in golf that's really consistently winning and bringing eyeballs to the sport, to a sport that's not exactly fun to watch, you have to have something like this. You have to, because otherwise no one's gonna watch. For casual fans, that's where I think golf is trying to target, is the casual fan. They've seen, this is the high. I don't know the ratings. I have to look those up. But I feel like the match is the highest rated golf tournament, potentially besides the Masters, obviously, besides maybe the British Open or the US Open, maybe those 2 or 3. I feel like this one is probably up there in the ratings, if not super, super close. Just saying. Golf needs this. And golf needs to take some pointers, some of the little success factors that make this match so successful, and they need to put it into practice more often on regular tour events. Even the majors. Make it more fun. Get an inside, get some insights into these golfers and what their quirks are, what their, that'd be fun. I love to hear these stories and all the trash talk and what they're saying, because that's what you do on a golf course. Let's say, I don't play a ton of golf, but I will say that when I'm playing with my buddies and we're drinking and having a time and talking and talking trash to each other and shooting the shit, that's the best part about golf. That's why you can relate to it. Little bets on the course, little things like that. That's what makes golf fun. It's the social aspect, and this is what brings that social aspect out. So, I digress. I'll get off my pedestal here. I just really want golf to be better so I can watch it more, and this is what needs to happen, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments on the chat, whether you're here on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, because we're streaming multi on all 3 of those. So make sure you are tagging in and letting me know what you think. Do you guys watch golf? I think we have a little bit of a younger crowd here for the most part. We have kind of just a range of ages here, but does anybody here watch golf? I don't think so. I wouldn't if I don't, and I'm a big sports guy, I don't know, maybe Scott might be the only one that just watches it like more closely than anything else. But he's also looking for that Tiger Woods kid to come up here in the next 10 years. So we'll see. We'll see. But the last topic I want to touch on is this drama. So we got some juicy drama going on here. And it's kind of interesting to see what's happening with Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau. Deb in chat. I only watch the Masters. Yeah, a lot of people. That's literally the only. It's kind of like in NASCAR. People get excited for the Daytona 500. Everyone gets excited Daytona 500, and then they don't watch a single race after that. And even then, they don't really watch the full Daytona 500. It's kind of, I would put Daytona 500, NASCAR, the same category, and tell me if I'm wrong, as the Masters too. I mean, the Masters might be a little bit more watched because it's kind of like that changing of the season. That's how you know the weather's getting better. You've made it past spring. You're kind of getting towards summer. It's that like it's like opening day in baseball. You just really, it's just like a changing of the seasons, changing of, you know, what's coming up in the sports world, and it's just there's just a hype around it. Now maybe the Daytona 500 I don't think has the same kind of hype, but it's still the same kind of result though, right? You kind of get hyped up, especially with like Daytona 500 coming up, and you maybe watch a little bit of the race when it first starts, or you don't watch it all and you just check in on the scores periodically. That's the same thing as golf. That's the same thing as the Masters, and for most people, if I'm being honest. So it's just yeah, it's just interesting to see that. But yeah, not a lot of people really get into golf as much, and I think golf really needs to just step it up and make a change there. Now, Dev in chat, watching racing is like watching paint dry. I used to think that too. Now, I had some days in college where I would, when sports was kind of slow and there wasn't a lot going on, and you had the NFL season kind of just like, you know, kind of getting going, and you know, you're just sitting there as a college kid in your apartment, just nothing to do. Now, I'm a big Kevin Harvick guy. He started out with a 29 car, which is one of my favorite numbers, and then he switched to the 4 car, which is another one of my favorite numbers. He's just been one of those guys that I always follow. He's always competitive, and I would always pick him. He had the Budweiser car, so I would always get a pack of Budweiser, like a 12-pack, and just watch racing all day. It's not, if you watch it all day and you're drinking beer, it's not the worst day by far that you could have. Just give that a try one day. Just who knows. Mayday, welcome back. You came back just in time for this drama that we're about to go. I have another video guide for you guys. So just to give you some background, Brooks Koepka, this is what also is going to make golf great. Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau, who is in the match with Tom Brady, Phil Mickelson, Aaron Rodgers, and that's it. Just the 4 of them. So there was some drama this past week in the championship, and it had to do with Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka not getting along. And I didn't really think, I don't even know really how this started until I dove into the rabbit hole and went down, and this turned into like some crazy rabbit hole that I was like, what is happening with this? Like, you'll see these screenshots that we're cycling through here. I'm going to show a video of this in interview, and it's fascinating to see how much hatred these two golfers have for each other. Now, you know, you have rivalries. What's your favorite rivalry? So you have what? You have Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird. You have Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, right? You have, you know, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier. I mean, this could be, when golf is all said and done, one of those up there. I mean, those are legendary rivalries. But like Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau are pretty decent golfers that hate each other. And so, you know, on Monday, a video leaked around. It was a Golf Channel interview, that the PGA Championship showed Koepka rolling his eyes, cursing at DeChambeau as he walks behind him in the same video shot. And Koepka was visibly annoyed, frustrated, distracted. He even like forgot what he was talking about in the question. And then it didn't stop there. So we just discussed that Aaron Rodgers, that golf match. Phil Mickelson, who won his major title, became the oldest, obviously, was tuning into some of these drama tweets. There were some tweets going back and forth that you're seeing on the screen. Like, sorry, bro, Aaron Rodgers, that you have to play with DeChambeau. And then all of a sudden Phil comes in and he's like, oh, well, you know, they picked me to just jump in here because they need a champion to play in this tournament. It was just like, it was perfect. It was great. And I love where this is going. But let me, the video will speak for itself. Let me cue it up here. And it is pretty funny. I might have to turn down the music because this is kind of a soft sounding video. But let me do that real quick here. And then I'll pull this up. But it is quite funny. Let's see. Here we go.
Ready? Golf course was asking a lot from you today, Brooks. What were you able to do well and put up that nice number?
Just ball struck my way around this place. Didn't putt well, but I don't think many guys are going to putt well with this wind. It's very tough. Like I said, I don't know what other guys have said, or I just felt it difficult to read. You know, sometimes I lost my train of thought. Yeah, hearing that bullshit. Fucking Christ.
All right, listen, we're starting over. We're going to enjoy that at the TV compound.
I honestly wouldn't even care.
I mean...
Ready? Golf course was asking a lot.
How amazing is that? It's like... You don't see that very often. All the hatred that you saw in that interview was just so great. Like, the eye roll, top to bottom, it was so great. And there's just a hatred. So let me give you a little bit of backstory on that video. Now, when this first started, it happened, I think, back, from what I can find, it happened in 2019. Multiple PGA players, including Koepka, criticized DeChambeau for slow play on the course. And so that led to DeChambeau telling Koepka's caddy to inform Brooks that he should confront him about the matter if he had something to say. They were standing on the putting green with Koepka's caddy earlier on when irritated Bryson DeChambeau walked up and told him to tell his boss to make any comment about the slow play to my face. Brooke arrived soon after, got the message, and just was put off by it. Shortly after, DeChambeau and Koepka joined a radio show to talk, a podcast or something, to talk about just golf or how to hit the ball, all the different things. So then the slow play kind of came up in the conversation, and playing slow on the greens, and he fessed up to being put on the clock, which hey, you need to hurry up, like you're slow. More than once explaining how he finds himself in those situations quite a bit. In the same interview, Collins remarked, "People acted like two of y'all are going to a fight," which DeChambeau replied, "Let's be honest, we know who would win that fight, and it's not me." Koepka echoed the sentiment with an approving, "You got that right." Like, there's just like a lot of just hostility between these two, and it's so great. Like, forget all of like the Logan Paul and the Paul brothers fighting whoever and making like I would love to see these two guys. I would love to see Koepka and DeChambeau battle it out in the ring, or even just on the golf course, on the greens. Just like put on like some of those ropes and on a green, and just have some fun with it. So yeah, suddenly all I want to see coming up in the U.S. Open is a pairing of these two. How amazing would that be? Just these guys paired together in the same group. Just, oh man, you have to see it. If you're golf, how do you not put that together? You have to. I mean, look at this guy's face. He is absolutely just repulsed by DeChambeau. I love it. It's just an incredible thing to see, and it's not going to stop now. I would say that this is going to keep rolling on for a while. By the way, I feel like I'm in the middle of something that should step aside, except they want the current PGA champ. That was Phil Mickelson in that tweet that was just on the screen. It was so great. Like everything about this I love. This is what brings eyeballs to golf. Like, if this is being, like, if you're a marketing guy, you are promoting the shit out of this because you want this next pairing. If they were to able to get paired up at the U.S. Open, how fun would that be? I guarantee I would watch every single minute of that. Just waiting for just some shit talk to happen. These guys, can you imagine this guy? I mean, Koepka's closing his eyes in pain because he has to see this guy walk by, much less just hear something come out of his mouth. And these guys being paired together all day on a golf course. Get your popcorn ready. Get your popcorn ready, as T.O. would say, right? Phillies, Philadelphia Eagles fans know what that's about, right? Hey, I would love it. So, that's where we're at with that story. A lot of drama, a lot of juicy stories. Like I said, Scott's missing out. If you're here and you're just checking us out for the first time, or if you're here just hanging out, just watching, hey, hit that follow button. If you're not following already, make sure you're here, part of the show each and every week, each and every Wednesday, each and every Sunday. We love to see your thoughts, get your thoughts on everything that comes to, sports, life, you name it. We talk about everything on this show. So just make sure you guys are with us for the long haul. But that's all I got for the news rundown. So we're going to wrap that up here, and we're going to dive into some of the playoff talk because there's a lot of playoffs stuff going on here. We're going to be bringing up some live scores here for you, making sure that everything is all situated on this front as well. Deb in chat, that'd be like watching children not play fair in the sandbox. I would totally watch this. Yeah, 100%. It's one of the funniest videos I've seen in a long time. I've watched it over and over. It's so much fun to watch, and that's what makes it. That's what, like, golf needs this. Golf needs it bad. It needs it bad. So I guarantee all of us will be watching the U.S. Open here soon if that's the case. But let's move on. We have. Let me close this. Actually, let me close that out real quick. So we are talking some playoffs here. And actually, I want to talk, we're going to talk NBA first. So let me close this out real quick here. We're going to be talking some NBA with you guys here for a minute. Let me move this around and organize this a little bit. So a little more aesthetically pleasing for you guys. Now, the NBA, we have a lot of games going on tonight. And we want to just cover what's happening across the league. We have some big games from last couple days that we're going to be covering here, not only just tonight's, but yesterday's games as well. So here's what our tournament looks like, tournament bracket when it comes to the NBA. Now, we have some surprising games here. Some are surprising, some are not. Let me actually this is not refreshed because we have some updates in scores here. So let's update this for you, and we are good to go. So right here, you'll see that we have the Philadelphia 76ers, who were in action earlier on today. Mayday was keeping us busy on all the drama going on in that one, and it wasn't even part of the gameplay. It was stuff that was happening, like, kind of just off the court-ish, except for the thrust thing. That was a little bit different with Embiid. But we have the let's start with the East. Philadelphia 76ers are currently in the driver's seat on the East side of this bracket. They're doing some big things. Obviously, we knew that they were going to do really, really well against the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards ended up playing in that playing game, and they're just, still trying to get their feet under them. And I just don't think that that's something they're going to be able to do against a number 1 seed Philadelphia team. Now, in this game, there was a lot of action from Embiid for sure. Embiid had a big game. Let me pull up the box score here. But as far sorry about that little sound jolt for you. So Joel Embiid finished with 22 points. 22 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. So not a big game. Ben Simmons also had 22, 8 assists, 9 rebounds. So both played pretty well in this game. And then you look at the other side of the ticket, and you had a rough game when it came to Russell Westbrook. 10 points, 4 turnovers, 11 assists, 6 rebounds, only in 29 minutes. This was it was out of hand. So Philadelphia jumped out to a 35-24 lead in the first quarter, and then just kept piling it on from there. Had a 36 points in the second quarter, and then just the fourth quarter just shut down the Wizards, only scoring 15 points on the Wizards side and putting up 26 on Philadelphia's side. So they just finished this game completely front to back on this one. Now Bradley Beal had a decent game for the Wizards here with 33 points on 14 of 28 shooting. He was 1 for 6 from 3, so his long range shooting wasn't exactly where they wanted it to be. But overall field goal percentage, they only shot 40% from the field compared to 55% from the field from the Philadelphia 76ers, and they just outclassed the Washington Wizards tonight. So big win for them. Glad they were able to continue to move this forward, because they're going to be the biggest chance to knock off the Brooklyn Nets here in this tournament, in this playoff bracket. So that's the matchup everyone wants to see, right? That's what everyone wants to check out. So definitely a big one there. Now let's dive over to the Hawks and
New
Knicks.
9 elements.
Now the Hawks and Knicks, this game was back and forth. So Atlanta jumped out on this one to a 27-20 lead over the Knicks, and then they followed that up with a 30-24 second quarter. So they led 57-44 at half. And then all of a sudden, Tom Thibodeau must have just rallied his team at halftime, because Rose, Randall just ended up just putting on a show the rest of the way through and just crushed. So Derrick Rose scored 26 points. Julius Randle shook off a miserable first half and had a big third quarter turnaround. The Knicks beat the Hawks again, 101-92. Randle was 0 for 6 with just 2 points at halftime. So it wasn't a great start for him. But he ended up rebounding. NBA most improved player finished with 15 points, 12 rebounds despite poor shooting. I would say that's a solid turnaround. And is 5 for 16 after going 6 for 23 in the opener. So he's only going to get better. And the fact that he played as bad as he did in this game, and they still were able to get this win against the Atlanta Hawks, I mean, that's all you got to see right there. Can you imagine him playing at the peak when he's just putting it all together consistently throughout the start of the game all the way through, putting together a complete game? I mean, that changes things, right? So, I think, overall, the Knicks have been the big surprise here. This series is tied 1-1. A lot can happen in the series. I think it's going to be actually a longer series than people think. Some people, we had the Knicks winning this series, and I still think that's the case. I still think the Knicks will be there. I still think they're going to be taking care of business in this. I think they're a little bit better than the Atlanta Hawks team that, I think they're just on a good roll here. And so got Spike Lee chilling on the sidelines. It's just, I don't know, man. I feel like they're gonna be putting this together and getting a big series win here on this first opening round here. So Randall was presented with his Most Improved Player award that he won in a runaway on Tuesday. So that was kind of a big thing going into it. Mitchell Robinson still on his way back from returning for the Knicks. So, he's a little bit banged up. But, yeah, overall, big win for the New York Knicks here to even up the series with Atlanta. Now, there's only one other game going on tonight, and that's live currently in the Western Conference side of the bracket. So we have Utah and Memphis currently at it right now. Utah is at right now currently almost finished out 148 in the first quarter, winning 28-22 over Memphis. Now, if you missed it, if you've been living under a rock a little bit, you've noticed that the best teams in the West have all struggled in their opening games. Utah Jazz are no exception. Utah Jazz ended up dropping the first game of this series to the Memphis Grizzlies in shocking fashion. Now, again, there was a little bit of a adjustment because in the first game, Donovan Mitchell didn't play, and he was furious with his team. At least that's what reports have said coming out of Utah, that he wasn't cleared. I guess they cleared him initially, and then before the game started, they said, actually, no, we can't have you playing for health reasons, whatever that looks like, and just upset, which he's had a couple rough years with Utah. Let's just be honest. Last year, he had rough go with Rudy Gobert, one of his teammates, which, one of the biggest pieces of that team with the whole COVID issue and how he handled that. This year, he's having issues with the staff and the training staff and the coaching and the management, this and that. So, I don't know. It's kind of strange that a caliber player of what he can bring to a franchise, is having as many rough issues over the course of the last couple of years that he's having, considering the team is as good as they are. 50-20 to finish the regular season, number 1 seed in the West, and they lost that first game. They were just, outclassed by the Grizzlies when it came to, some of the guys that just really, they wanted it more. And foul trouble was a big thing. Now, I'm looking at the little box score here. Gobert's not in foul trouble tonight. Connolly's not in foul trouble. Both those guys kind of had some fouls early on in the game last time. So, I think that's a big piece of it. Those guys are going to be on the court throughout the game. But, Gobert, that was another thing, too. Gobert was left in the game with about 8 or 9 minutes left. And he ended up fouling out literally after he got his 5th foul on the next possession, which that's kind of a coaching thing. That comes back to coaching and whether or not you are smart enough to get one of your star players out of the game when you need to. So I think that they might have had a better chance. I still think they lose that game, but it is what it is. So right now, Utah Jazz finished the first quarter, end of the first, 36-27, 9-point lead over the Memphis Grizzlies. So we're going to keep track on this one. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think the Grizzlies could still give the Jazz a run for their money, especially, here's the thing. Donovan Mitchell was a question mark coming into this game, right? We didn't know whether or not he was going to be a rusty Donovan Mitchell, or Donovan Mitchell who's just going to come in and pick up right where he left off in the regular season, just being a baller. And right now, he's leading in points for the Utah Jazz, 12 points. So he's doing well. And, let's just see some of these other stats that he's got going on right now. He's got 12 points, 1 rebound, 0 assists. So he's just pretty much being that scoring factor for them, which they need desperately to, keep maintaining this. Right now, it's looking like Utah Jazz are feeling really good in this early section of this game, the early part of this game. So we'll see if they can maintain that throughout the course. But keep in mind that some of the guys that, outperformed Brooks last game was a man on a mission. Right now, currently only has 2 points, 2 rebounds. So he hasn't started out very strong. The Grizzlies are starting out, they're not shooting poorly. They're 50% so far from the field. So it's just, I think that the Utah Jazz are shooting 57%, and they're just really putting some pressure on in the first quarter. So we'll see what that ends up happening. I'll give you another score update towards the end of this stream, and we'll make sure that you're all up to date. But I want to touch on another game here, and that's the Clippers and the Mavericks. What is happening in this series? I'm telling you, Dallas is going to win this series. Dallas is going to take this series home for these game 3 and 4, and they're going to take care of business. I see maybe the Clippers winning 1 game coming out of this, and that's about it. I don't think that the Clippers, for some reason, Kawhi Leonard and Playoff P, Paul George, man, they're playing okay. They're playing, they're doing what they can, but there's just something missing there. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a, I can't put my finger on it. It maybe is a, I couldn't tell you. I can't even find the words to find what is wrong with the Clippers. They just don't have that sense of being connected with each other. I don't know. It's like they're playing. When I watch the Clippers play, I just feel like Kawhi is trying to get his. Paul George is trying to not fall into this I don't know, this chasm of pressure from his previous playoff performances, because historically he hasn't played well in the playoffs. And I don't know, I just think there's too much going on with them. They're just in their own heads, and that's all I see with the Clippers, and it's showing. Dallas, Luka, no one can stop Luka. No matter who you put, you have Kawhi Leonard, who's one of the best defenders in the NBA, in the world potentially, in the game of basketball, and he can't defend Luka at all. Luka's putting up 30 plus, dating back not only this game but the series from last year when they played. They just can't stop Luka, and Luka's getting better and better as a young kid. Porzingis is hitting threes from the logo in the middle of the court. If he can stay healthy, man, I think the Clippers are in a lot of trouble. If you're putting like a meter on whether or not these guys are going to get like a panic meter, you got to have it at a 9, 8 or 9 minimum. That I would be terrified. All the post-game interviews for this Clippers team have been, oh, we're fine, we're good, we don't need to worry about this. I think we're set. Coming back to Dallas, we'll get, we'll do what we need to do. I don't believe a second of that. I think they're in a lot of trouble, and we're going to see that play out here in the next week. It wouldn't surprise me if Dallas ended up winning the next 2 and just sweeping the Clippers. I mean, maybe it would surprise me a little bit. If you were to tell me before the series that Dallas was going to go up 2-0 on the Clippers, I would have been like, now, and here's the crazy thing too. The Clippers wanted this matchup. They controlled their own destiny on who they wanted to play in this playoffs. And they opted to play Dallas. And it's biting them in the butt. It's crazy. So, I don't know. Ty Lue, coach. I don't know if he's necessarily the best fit for them. He obviously can't get those guys to play in a way that is competitive in the playoffs. Doc Rivers in Philadelphia, he's laughing. right now. He's having a great time. He's sipping back on cocktails. He's up 2-0 in his series over Washington, and he's looking at this series in the Clippers, saying, "Man, enjoy that roster." Man, Doc Rivers is a happy camper at the moment. I'll tell you that right now. But hey, he got a decent deal. He went over to Philadelphia, and he's watching this train wreck of the LA Clippers just happen right in front of his eyes. Other matchups that happened yesterday, let's dive into those as well. So currently, let me pull this up real quick. So the Lakers and Phoenix Suns ended up playing as well. That's the other big one. So the Lakers ended up getting a 109-102 win over the Suns, which banged up Chris Paul played. You know, he was just not the same Chris Paul. He was a little struggle there. And I think that had to do with a little bit with that shoulder injury that he sustained in that series in Game 1. So we'll end up seeing what happened. DeAndre Ayton was a bright spot, 22 points, 10 rebounds. Anthony Davis woke up. He had a huge game, 34 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists to get the Lakers back on track. So they tie the series. I think the Lakers end up coming back to win this series. They do this, right? The Lakers end up dropping Game 1, and then they end up coming back, and you know, Game 1 is usually a feel-out game for the Lakers. They usually come in, they usually, you know, just try to see what they're going to get thrown at from the other team, whoever they're playing in the first round of or first game of their series, and then they just adapt the rest of the series. So I think that's going to be the case this year. I think the Lakers end up, unfortunately, coming back to beat the Suns, even though I really want the Suns to win. I really want them to get past this Laker team. Again, Phoenix is the 2 seed, LA is the 7 seed, so you hope that they can do something here as the 2 seed, but this screams 7 seed upset, and I don't love it. Another game yesterday that concluded is no surprise. You had the Brooklyn Nets that were in action against the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics were not expected to win this game and this series, and they were blown out. They were absolutely just torched in this one. First quarter, Brooklyn put 40 points up on the Celtics, 40-26, 31 in the second, 38 in the third. Celtics are just outclassed. They're just not going to be competitive in this one. And what's crazy is James Harden didn't even have a great game in the grand scheme of things here. Let me go look at his numbers real quick. James Harden ended up only having 20 points, 6 of 12 field goal, 4 of 8 from 3. 5 rebounds, 7 assists. So not a great game. I mean, Joe Harris had a better game than he did points-wise. And the fact that he didn't have as great of a game, that's scary. I mean, Kyrie Irving had 15 points, didn't have a great game either. We'll see. I mean, we're on a collision course with Philadelphia and Brooklyn, and I can't wait to see that. Mayday, I'm back. Ton of thunder on the East Coast. Holy shit. Yeah. Hopefully everything's good out there, man. You getting some power outages or something, right? Or is that a thing out there with these storms? Hopefully we got to keep you back in here with us. We're talking some NBA. We're talking about your Philadelphia 76ers. So we got to make sure you're here. So that's going to be interesting. Again, Brooklyn should sweep that series with Boston. And then you have Milwaukee looking really, really good against the Heat. The Heat have kind of struggled as well. I think this is where the teams kind of separate themselves from the depth perspective in this series. I think I think Milwaukee is definitely a deeper team. They're a better defensive team, and I think their nightmare from last season, playing Miami and losing that series, it's behind them. They're ready to go, and Giannis is playing fairly well. If Giannis could shoot a free throw, man, how good would he be? Mayday, it's 11 on the East Coast. Loud rumbles. Man. You know what's... I kind of like Thunder, though. I mean, not when it's, like, super aggressive, obviously. But we don't get a lot of rain or thunderstorms out here in Colorado. It's, like, far and in between. So, anytime we get any kind of rain, any kind of thunderstorms or anything, like, it's one of those things where I like to go out and sit on the porch and have a good time and, like, you know, grab a cocktail and just chill and just take it all in. Not too many times I could do that because we never get anything like that out here. So, yeah. But hopefully it's not too intense for you out there. But let's preview. I want to preview some of the games for tomorrow. Now, tomorrow night's games. Obviously, the Nuggets will be back in action. So my boys are tied 1-1 in this series with the Portland Trailblazers. So that's going to be a fun one to watch. So we have 3 games on the slate tomorrow. We got Milwaukee and Miami, which Milwaukee's up 2-0 over the Heat. You got the Suns and Lakers playing at the 8 o'clock game. And, of course, you have this overlapping game at the 8:30 spot with the Nuggets and Trailblazers. Man, I don't know what it is. Mayday, it's aggressive. Well, hey, stay safe out there, man. Make sure you're, hopefully it's not too crazy for you. But, man, these 8:30 games are killing me. When you have a job, if you have a full-time job you have to get up for, like, I also like to get up in the mornings and work out and stuff, and do that before work. Man, those mornings come around quick once you're staying up to watch these games. Obviously, I like to watch as many games as I can because, I like to be, knowledgeable about what's going on, and, I love NBA, NHL playoffs. This is the biggest year that I've, really invested a lot of time and energy into it, and I want to keep that rolling. But when these games start at 8:30, I could only imagine. I could live on the East Coast, maybe. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how people can live on the East Coast and, have games that you don't know the outcome until, 2 in the morning or something. I mean, that's got to be frustrating. I mean, I have family that live on the East Coast, and I was out there, in New York, and looking at the newspapers and trying to see what the scores of the games are. The newspapers don't even print the scores of the games because they have to print before they don't have time to get the scores in. It's so I guess I can't complain too much, but man, East Coast, watching some of these games that start at 8:30, aka 10:30 your time, Mayday. Man, I'm sorry. I want you to watch my Nuggets, cheer on my Nuggets, but you're asleep when the game starts. So, once these get into the second round, it's a little bit easier. Hopefully we get to the second round. Devin chat, that sucks. I have a little one to watch at 8 on Friday. Not fun having to try to stay up to finish the games. Yeah, no, it's definitely... Here's the thing with kids. You can go to bed at any time. They're going to wake up at the same time every single day, regardless of how late you stay up. Believe me, I know. Mayday, I'll try. Yeah, hey, we want that collision course. We want the Nuggets-Sixers finals. That's what we're looking for here. That's what we need in our lives. Nuggets-Sixers. You might get there. Who knows? So that's what we're looking at here in the NBA. A lot of great series going on. But again, the biggest surprise is that Clippers series. I'm glad if the Clippers get knocked off, that would be a lot of fun to watch. And then Utah. I can't. You have no idea how excited I will be if Utah gets knocked off by Memphis. This all comes back to me being upset that Jamal Murray is out. Because if Jamal Murray was in on this, man, how amazing would that be? One of our strongest teams in the Western Conference that we've had in forever. against a weak Western Conference. It's like kind of got some holes. It's kind of shoddy. You know, Utah's down 0-1 to Memphis. You got the Clippers down. You got the Lakers splitting in their series currently. Man, how nice would that be? That would be incredible. It's just that coulda, shoulda, woulda. Sucks. It is what it is, though, and we can't do much about it. So we got to play with what we got. Those are the cards we're dealt, so that's what we're rolling with. But let's dive in. I want to just touch, before we wrap up the stream, I want to touch on some of the NHL. The NHL playoffs is still going on, and we have some updates here when it comes to those games. Now, we had a big surprise, and we called it. Let me refresh this real quick. Make sure you guys have the most up-to-date little score here. But you will notice on this little bracket here, the New York Islanders with the upset against the #1 Pittsburgh Penguins. Scotty and I called this series before the playoffs started. And we have our matchup of Boston and New York in the second round. Now, the Pittsburgh Penguins, obviously, Sidney Crosby and company, really solid team. They just, for some reason, this defensive New York Islanders team really came to play. Goaltending was a big piece of this one as well. So, again, we've talked about this plenty of times. You have a team that turns it on from a goaltending perspective, from a just a defensive perspective. New York Islanders won this game 5.
As a member of the Say Service Squad,
5-3, and they just outclassed the Penguins, start to finish, with defense and holding them to not being able to do what they wanted to do. So, man, what an amazing series there. They will be playing Boston. So the bottom 2 seeds in that little corner bracket are the ones that are advancing on here to be part of the next round of the NHL playoffs. So crazy. Now we have another final earlier on in the day as well. The Tampa Bay Lightning end up finally getting that series win over #2 Florida. The defending champions end up getting a 4-0 win over the Panthers, shutting them out at home. So that was a big win for them to be able to close out that series. Now they can kind of relax here because this Carolina and Nashville series is 3-2. I expect Carolina to close this one out, but Nashville's been lingering around. Same thing with the Golden Knights and the Wild. Now, I'm going to touch on that one in a second. So, man, so many stories going on in hockey. So many things happening. But Tampa Bay, defending champs, ended up getting the win. So they're awaiting this Preds game. Now, Mayday, you were mentioning last stream that that Carolina Predators game, and I was mentioning that on the Sunday stream. That was a fun game to watch. It was just back and forth, tie game going in. Obviously, it creeped in on my Avalanche, but at the same time, it was still fun to watch. So that'll be a fun one to see what ends up happening with those two teams in that series. Another one here that is kind of a surprise that we did not pick. So we're balancing out our picks quite a bit here. But the Winnipeg Jets end up getting a win and winning the series over the Oilers. Edmonton just couldn't compete in this series either, so they are awaiting the winner of the Toronto and Montreal matchup, which Toronto should close that out. So we're going to most likely see that matchup between Winnipeg and Toronto in the second round there. That'll be a fun one. The fact that Winnipeg is played as well as they have, just sweeping the Oilers, a lot of momentum. They have rest going into the next round, which I think spells a little bit of trouble for the #1 Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, we've mentioned this before. In hockey is one of the only sports where you could be the bottom seeds, i.e. the Islanders and the Boston Bruins, and have a chance to win against top seeds in the NHL. Like, we've seen 8 seeds upset 1 seeds regularly in the NHL playoffs just because of goaltending and things happen like that. So from that standpoint, it wouldn't surprise me if the Jets end up coming in and putting it to the Toronto Maple Leafs and end up taking in and winning that series there. So I expect Toronto to win though. So last corner of the bracket here that is fascinating, and this is going to be the most intriguing corner of the bracket of all of them. Now, don't get me wrong. We have a lot of great playoff hockey happening here throughout the course of the playoffs so far, and yet to come. But I will say, what happens in this series here on the left-hand side of your bracket with the Avs and whoever they end up playing, which right now we have the Golden Knights playing the Wild currently. I'm gonna probably hop off stream once everything's wrapped up and check out this game. But Golden Knights and Wild are tied 0-0. There's no scoring so far. So this game could go either way. And by the way, if this goes into overtime, I kind of give the edge to the Minnesota Wild. Any kind of close game. So, you know, the Golden Knights, whenever they jump out to a fast lead, obviously that's kind of their comfort zone. But any kind of close game that happens here has given an advantage to the Minnesota Wild. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Minnesota Wild. I think, you know, yeah, they're fine. But the big matchup that we've been previewing and wanting to see all season long, the scary matchup, the one that should be in NHL Stanley Cup Finals, is the Avalanche and the Golden Knights. That's going to happen in the second round. Minnesota has been matching up well with the Golden Knights. They've won a bunch of games against the Knights in the season, during the regular season. And this could be a interesting game should Minnesota take this to a Game 7. I would love that, and I would love for Minnesota to win this series. They're down 3-2 to Vegas. And so, I mean, obviously a defensive game, close game, but Minnesota, currently as it stands, I would say has a good chance to win this game in overtime potentially, if it makes it that far. And that's where they thrive, in those close games. So, at least in this series so far. But we'll see how this ends up playing out. The Avalanche are just chilling, waiting. There's been some, you know, people talking about, you know, in my friend groups and the radio, like, oh, is it okay that the Avalanche had this much time off? And, you know, are they going to be rusty? Are they going to be, you know, what's going to happen with, you know, that? Are they going to come out swinging and healthy? I always, especially in hockey, I tend to lean on a team as talented as the Avalanche having the benefit of sitting. I would rather have them sit waiting, getting healthy, feeling good, than coming in after a bang up series, just back and forth, physical series, coming in and playing a team that's kind of, you know, just beat up, right? And I think that's where I feel this is going to be where this comes down to. So I'm glad the Avs have done what they needed to do to get this time off and to be able to get this rest and feel good about the next series. Minnesota plays great defense, not so good offense. Yeah, no, that's the biggest thing with Minnesota. They just cannot. They struggle putting the puck in the net early on in games, and that's what struggled against some of the losses that they've had against against Las Vegas. So yeah, that's a big thing there that we'll keep an eye on as the rest of this night unfolds. But right now, yeah, 0-0 tie game. There's 17 minutes and 33 seconds left in the third as of right now. Let me just take a look real quick at this box score. So right now, for Golden Knights, Fleury, Marc-Andre Fleury for the Golden Knights, 16 saves currently, posting that shutout. And then Talbot on the other end, 13 saves when it comes to those shots on goal. So it's going back and forth here. And right now, currently, the Minnesota Wild are getting more shots on goal. as of right now. So that's positive in a close game for a Minnesota team that's going up against one of the arguably best teams in the NHL. That's a big advantage to have here when you're getting a lot of shots put up on the Las Vegas Knights. So lot to happen here in this NHL playoffs down the stretch. Now let me go back. I want to double check on the update for the basketball side of things. The Utah Jazz are currently in action against the Grizzlies, as we've been talking about. Currently, just under 5 minutes actually. The Jazz have opened up their lead a little bit more here, 57-44. A little 13-point lead over the Grizzlies. So Grizzlies are still struggling to maintain and catch up to the Utah Jazz, but I really want the Jazz to lose. I really do. So hopefully that stays in play. But yeah, that's kind of what we have for you tonight. So as far as the stream goes, let me organize this. I should have organized this ahead of time. Thank you guys for being here with me here on a Wednesday night. I know Scotty's been out a couple Wednesdays in a row, so he's gonna have some stability coming up, I think, here soon. We're gonna have more to bring you on Sunday. So Sunday's our next show. If you're here, make sure you're hitting that follow button on Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube, so that way you can always get all these updates each and every time we go live. It always means a lot to us, and it doesn't cost you a single thing. So thank you for being here on the Action Lab. Is there, by the way, before we end, is there anything else that you guys want to talk about? Is there, if sometimes, we get lost in some NHL and NBA playoffs. If there's some football you want to talk about, or just anything, just feel free to throw it out there. Don't hesitate. But otherwise, we'll see you here back on Sunday for our Mile High recap, and we might actually have some surprises for you. We have some boxing matches that are coming up eventually in the next month that we're going to have some surprises for you guys. Now, I know boxing isn't a big sport that we cover a ton, but I have a boxing insider that we're going to probably think about bringing in for some insiders info, some specialty boxing content, whether that's, we got that Fury fight, and that's going to be a fun one. So we're going to have some special guests. We're trying to reel update on all of those goodies as well. So that's all I got for you, my friends. I hope you had a great time. We made it through Wednesday, 2 more days before the weekend, and we are almost there. So I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. It's downhill from here. Thursday, tomorrow, Friday, and then we have a 3-day weekend. We have a 3-day weekend for most people do. Hopefully you do too. So make sure you're spending some time with some family, grabbing those barbecues, and just watching some sports. Like that's what, and then you have all of that extra content to bring to the show, so we can all have fun together. So can't wait for that. Make sure you're here each and every Wednesday and Sunday. It means a lot to us, even if you're not even following and you're just watching. I love that too. So thank you so much for everyone who participated. Mayday and Deb mostly today, and thank you for Sosa Dagoon 200 for following while we were offline. Appreciate that. And we hope to see all of you guys back here in the coming days. Deb and chat, go Nuggets. Yeah, go Nuggets. Nuggets, big game tomorrow night. Make sure you're cheering them on. If you don't have a team in the fight, cheer on my team. There's nothing wrong with that. Enjoy. And obviously the Nuggets are a lot of fun to watch. So and I'm not saying that because I'm a homer. I would say that if I was not even a Nuggets fan, because they just, for some reason, they're just a lot more fun to watch. Just the way their style of play, sharing the ball, having a good time on the court, you could just tell. It's just a lot better of a product. Now, they don't get that in the national media. They don't get a lot of that that notoriety that they should get. But, that hopefully that changes once we end up getting into a situation where they end up winning a championship and end up coming back to relevance from, the olden days when they were really good with, some of those legends like Fat Lever and Thompson and, all those guys, Dan Issel and, man, wouldn't that be nice, huh? So, really appreciate all the love again. Love all of you guys, all of our lab rats that are in the lab, and we will see you back here on Sunday. Mark your calendars, hit that follow button, like I said, so you know when we go live. If you're here and you're just like on the sidelines, like that high school dance that you've always been, no one wants to go on the dance floor and jump in. Hey, just jump in, do some break dancing, follow the stream, have some fun, chat it up. We love all of you guys when you guys do that stuff. So appreciate it. You guys make this stream what it is. So we want to keep that rolling for you each and every time we go live. So love you guys. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and we will talk to you again soon. Sunday. Love you. Bye.